Director Blue stood at his observation window, his crystalline form reflecting the soft purple light of the nebula outside. Below him, chaos unfolded in the dangerous species wing of the Galactic Grand Zoo. Another keeper had quit, making it the 5th resignation this month. The director's assistant, a small floating orb named Pip, hovered anxiously nearby. "Sir, the Class 4 predator in Section C is refusing to eat again, and the plasma beast in Section D has started glowing in new colors we've never seen before." Blue's crystalline structure vibrated with frustration. The Galactic Grand Zoo was supposed to be the finest facility in 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. Yet they couldn't even keep their exotic creatures properly contained and cared for. Traditional methods weren't working anymore. "Show me the latest application files," Blue commanded, his voice resonating like wind chimes in a storm. The holographic display lit up, showing hundreds of potential candidates from across the galaxy. All of them had perfect credentials, immaculate training records, and spotless behavioral patterns. Blue dismissed them all with a wave of his transparent hand. "We've tried perfect. Perfect isn't working." He paused, his crystal structure shifting to a deeper shade of blue. "Show me the irregular applications." Pitt's orbital pattern became erratic, a sign of nervousness. "Sir, you can't mean the human application." "Exactly that one." The file appeared before them. Jack Stone, from a small planet called Earth. His credentials were messy, his experience limited to what the galactic community considered a backwater world. But something caught Blue's attention, a video clip attached to the application. The footage showed Jack handling what Earthers called a honey badger, a small but notoriously aggressive creature. While other keepers at his Earth facility used protective gear and distance tools, Jack was in the enclosure, talking to the creature like it was an old friend. The animal, known for its ferocity, was actually playing with enrichment toys Jack had created. "Fascinating," Blue murmured. "Earth is classified as a death world, yet they treat their dangerous creatures like companions." "But sir," Pitt protested, "humans are barely Category 2 members of the galactic community. They still think faster than light travel is exciting. Their planet is full of creatures that could kill them, yet they keep some as pets. They're clearly not stable enough for our facility." Blue's structure sparkled with what passed for amusement among his species. "Perhaps that's exactly why we need one." The decision sent shockwaves through the station. The other keepers, representing dozens of advanced species, were horrified. Some threatened to resign. Blue ignored them all. 2 days later, Jack Stone stepped off the transport ship, carrying nothing but a duffel bag and wearing what he called khakis and a lucky cap. He looked around the massive station with obvious wonder, but not the fear most species showed when first arriving at the galaxy's largest space station. "This is amazing," he exclaimed, watching a group of floating crystalline beings drift past. "Way better than the brochure. When can I meet the animals?" The orientation officer, a tall insectoid named Crix, clicked her mandibles in distress. "Mr. Stone, we first have 3 weeks of safety protocols to review, followed by—" "Is that a plasma beast?" Jack interrupted, pressing his face against a nearby viewing window. The creature inside, a swirling mass of energy and matter, shifted colors rapidly. "Oh wow, she's beautiful. And definitely bored. Look at that pattern spinning. Has anyone tried giving her some electromagnetic toys to play with?" Crix's antennae twitched violently. "Mr. Stone, plasma beasts are Class 4 hazardous entities. We do not play with them." Jack just grinned, already pulling a strange object from his bag. "On Earth, we have a saying. Every animal is just a friend you haven't made yet, even the ones that can dissolve you into your base atoms. Now, where's my new office? I've got some ideas I want to try out." As Jack strode away, whistling what he called an old zookeeper's tune, Director Blue watched from above, his crystalline form shimmering with what might have been hope, or possibly concern. With humans, it was often hard to tell the difference between a brilliant solution and an impending disaster. One thing was certain: the Galactic Grand Zoo would never be the same again. The morning started with screaming. Not unusual for the Galactic Grand Zoo, but this time the screams came from the staff, not the creatures. "He's what?" Crix's antennae stood straight up in shock as she watched the security feed. "Someone stop him." Jack Stone had entered the Plasma Beast's enclosure armed with nothing but a strange metal device and what appeared to be a rubber ball that glowed with soft blue light. The Plasma Beast, a swirling mass of purple and red energy, hovered menacingly in the corner of its containment field. Director Blue rushed to the observation deck, his crystalline form flickering with anxiety. But before anyone could activate the emergency protocols, Jack started to whistle. The sound echoed through the enclosure, and remarkably, the Plasma Beast's violent swirling began to slow. "That's right, beautiful," Jack said softly, holding up the glowing ball. "Look what I made for you. It's got an electromagnetic core, just like a little galaxy of your own to play with." The creature's colors shifted from angry red to curious blue. Jack gently tossed the ball into the air. The Plasma Beast caught it in its energy field, its form rippling with new patterns as it investigated the toy. "Sir," Pip reported, hovering by Blue's shoulder, "the Plasma Beast's agitation levels are dropping. They're the lowest we've recorded since its arrival." In the next enclosure, Jack faced an even bigger challenge. The Void Stalker, a predator that could bend space itself, paced in its reinforced cage. Previous keepers had fed it by dropping food through a quantum-shielded chute. Jack walked right up to the bars. "Mr. Stone," one of the alien keepers called out, "the safety protocols clearly state that we should keep them fed and healthy." Jack interrupted. "Look at those movement patterns. This big guy isn't aggressive. He's bored out of his mind. When was the last time he had to work for his food?" Before anyone could stop him, Jack pulled out what looked like a puzzle box. He placed meat inside it and tossed it into the enclosure. The Void Stalker approached cautiously. "See," Jack explained to his horrified audience. "On Earth, we learned that predators need mental stimulation. They enjoy solving problems. It's not just about feeding them. It's about giving them something to do." The Void Stalker spent the next hour figuring out how to phase its claws through the puzzle box in just the right way to reach the food. Its usual aggressive behavior completely disappeared. By the end of the week, Jack had introduced his enrichment program to most of the dangerous species wing. The Quantum Servant played with space-time distortion toys. The Mind Leech had a new telepathic puzzle that kept it occupied. Even the dreaded Star Eater cubs were contentedly batting around special balls that simulated the gravitational pull of small planets. Director Blue called an emergency staff meeting. "The humans' methods are completely unorthodox," Crix declared. "He violates at least 15 safety protocols every hour." "True," Blue responded, his crystal form glowing thoughtfully. "But look at these readings." He projected a hologram showing the creature's health metrics. Every single one had improved. Stress levels were down, healthy behaviors were up, and there hadn't been a single escape attempt all week. He even got the cosmic horror to stop screaming constantly. Pip added, "Turns out it just wanted someone to play shadow puppets with its tentacles." As if to prove their point, laughter echoed through the station. The staff rushed to the windows to see Jack in the middle of what he called playtime. The dangerous creature's wing, usually a place of tension and terror, looked more like what humans called a kindergarten. Deadly predators took turns with toys. Spatial anomalies played catch with their keepers, and even the Plasma Beast was performing tricks for treats. "I still say it's madness," Crix muttered. "Perhaps," Blue agreed, watching as Jack taught a group of junior keepers how to make proper scratching posts for dimensional rifts. "But it's working. And in all my years running this facility, I've never seen these creatures so happy." In the background, Jack's voice rang out. "Who's a good, incomprehensible horror? You are. Yes, you are." The cosmic horror's tentacles wiggled with joy. Red lights flashed throughout the Galactic Grand Zoo as alarms blared in 3 different frequencies. The main power core had failed, taking the safety systems with it. Emergency protocols initiated. Crix's voice echoed through the station. All staff to safe rooms. Containment fields at 30% and failing. Director Blue's crystalline form pulsed with emergency patterns. Status report. Sir. Pip zoomed in, orbiting frantically. Backup systems are responding too slowly. We have 15 minutes before the containment fields fail completely. The Void Stalker's already eyeing the weakening barriers, and the Plasma Beast's enclosure is becoming unstable. In the midst of the panic, Jack Stone walked calmly past the running aliens, munching on something he called a granola bar. Mr. Stone. Crix's antennae quivered in disbelief. What are you doing? You must evacuate immediately. Nah, Jack said, checking his pockets. Just need to make a few rounds. Got some scared kids to calm down. He pulled out a bag of what appeared to be treats and toys. Kids. Blue's voice crackled with confusion. These are apex predators from across the galaxy. Same thing, really, Jack shrugged. Everyone gets scared when the lights go out. Before anyone could stop him, Jack headed straight for the dangerous species wing. The security feeds showed him entering the first enclosure just as its field flickered dangerously. Hey there, big guy, Jack's voice came through the cameras. The Void Stalker, previously prowling for escape routes, turned toward him. Power's out. Kind of like a storm back on Earth. Want to help me check on the others? To everyone's amazement, the massive predator sat down like an oversized house cat. Jack tossed it a treat and scratched behind its space-bending ears. Good boy. Now stay put. Got some other friends to visit. Moving quickly but calmly, Jack made his rounds. He gave the Plasma Beast its favorite electromagnetic ball, which helped stabilize its form. The cosmic horror's tentacles were wrapped around itself in fear until Jack taught it to play shadow puppets using the emergency lights. Sir, Pip reported, containment fields down to 15%, but none of the creatures are trying to escape anymore. Through the cameras, they watched Jack enter the Star Eater cub's enclosure. The young creatures, capable of devouring entire solar systems, were huddled together nervously. Who wants story time? Jack pulled out a small light projector he used for entertainment. The cubs immediately perked up, gathering around him like eager puppies as he projected star patterns on the wall. 10 minutes to complete failure, Crix announced, though her voice held more confusion than panic now. That's fine, Jack's voice crackled through the comm. The backup systems should be online in 8. I checked earlier, it's just a power cycle issue. Happens all the time in Earth zoos during storms. You knew this would happen? Blue asked. Well, your maintenance patterns looked familiar. Reminded me of our old backup generator. Just needed a reset, but it takes time. Figure we might as well make it fun while we wait. Sure enough, 8 minutes later, the backup systems hummed to life. The containment field stabilized, and the emergency lights faded. Not a single creature had attempted to escape. When the all-clear sounded, the staff found Jack in the middle of what he called a slumber party with the Star Eater cubs, all of them curled up around him as he finished his story about Earth's constellations. Mr. Stone, Director Blue approached, his crystal form still flickering with residual stress patterns. Your methods are unusual. Thanks. Jack grinned, gently extracting himself from the pile of sleeping cosmic predators. That wasn't exactly a compliment, Crix muttered. Look, Jack said, dusting himself off. Sometimes things go wrong, but panic never helps. These guys aren't just specimens. They're living beings who needed reassurance. Simple as that. As Jack walked away to check on the other enclosures, Director Blue turned to his staff. Update the emergency protocols, he ordered. Add story time to the official response procedures. Pip's orbital pattern took on a tilt that suggested confusion. Sir, Surely you're not serious." "Dead serious," Blue responded, watching as Jack shared his granola bar with a grateful plasma beast. After all, it's hard to argue with results. Jack stood before Director Blue's desk, hands in his pockets, looking surprisingly calm for someone who had just violated 50 years of zoo management protocols. "You did what?" Blue's crystalline form had taken on a rare red tinge of agitation. "I put the Void Stalker and the Quantum Serpent in the same enclosure," Jack repeated cheerfully. "They're getting along great. Want to see?" The security feed showed something unprecedented. The Void Stalker, terror of the quantum realms, was playing what appeared to be tag with the Quantum Serpent. They phased in and out of different dimensions, clearly enjoying the game. "This is completely against regulations." Crix buzzed in through the door, her antennae twitching wildly. "We never mix Class 4 predators." "Yeah, but they're both space-time manipulators," Jack explained, pulling up his notes on a tablet. "Back on Earth, we learned that similar species often do better with companions. They're both intelligent, they share the same dimensional frequency, and honestly, they were getting lonely." "Lonely?" Pip echoed, spinning in confusion. "They're apex predators." "So are dolphins on Earth," Jack shrugged. "Doesn't mean they don't need friends." Before anyone could argue further, a commotion erupted from the visitors' viewing area. The staff rushed to investigate, expecting disaster. Instead, they found a crowd of aliens pressed against the safety glass, watching in amazement. The Void Stalker and Quantum Serpent had invented a new game. One would create a spatial anomaly, and the other would dive through it, emerging from a different dimension with a playful roar. Visitors were taking videos, calling friends, and filling the observation deck. "Sir," a junior keeper reported, checking the daily stats, "our visitor numbers have tripled since this morning." Jack wasn't done with changes. Over the next week, he carefully introduced more compatible species to each other. The plasma beast found a friend in a living lightning storm. The cosmic horror's tentacles turned out to be perfect playmates for the quantum phase spiders. Even the Star Eater cubs got some new dimensional friends. The creature's health readings are off the charts, Pip reported during the weekly staff meeting. Stress levels are down 80%, healthy behaviors are up 150%, and we haven't had a single aggressive incident in days. "And ticket sales?" Blue asked. "Quadrupled," Crix admitted reluctantly. "We're getting visitors from all over the galaxy. They're calling it the Earth-style exhibition." Jack had transformed the dangerous species wing into something new. Instead of sterile, separate cells, the enclosures now resembled natural habitats. Creatures that had been considered too dangerous to even look at were now putting on daily shows of their abilities, not because they were trained, but because they were happy. "We've received inquiries from 15 other zoos," Blue announced, his crystal form shimmering with what might have been pride. "They all want to know about our new management techniques." "It's really not complicated," Jack said, looking up from where he was designing a new toy for the dimensional beings. "Every creature needs 3 things: respect, enrichment, and friends. Even the ones that can eat stars or bend reality." As if to prove his point, a delighted squeal echoed through the station. The cosmic horror had just learned to play volleyball with the plasma beast, using a special energy ball Jack had designed. Visitors watched in awe as tentacles of incomprehensible matter surged and spiked across a multidimensional net. "The Galactic Zoo Council wants to review our methods," Crix noted, still sounding worried. "They say we're breaking too many traditional protocols." "Let them come," Blue decided, watching as Jack taught a group of junior keepers how to referee games between cosmic entities. "Sometimes breaking protocol is exactly what we need." In the background, the Void Stalker let out a happy roar as it won another game of interdimensional tag. A small alien child waved at it through the safety glass, and to everyone's surprise, it waved back with one of its reality-bending claws. "See," Jack grinned, "they're just big space puppies once you get to know them." "Space puppies that could devour entire solar systems," Pip reminded him. Well, nobody's perfect, Jack laughed, pulling out treats for his next playdate with the Star Eater cubs. But they're trying their best, and sometimes that's all that matters. The morning started normally at the Galactic Grand Zoo, if you could call a cosmic horror playing fetch with a void stalker normal. Then the alarms went off. The Nebula Stalkers. Crix's voice crackled over the intercom. All three have vanished from their enclosure. The Nebula Stalkers were the zoo's newest additions, predators that could turn invisible and phase through most materials. Even the galaxy's most advanced containment systems could barely hold them. Initiate lockdown. Director Blue ordered, his crystal form pulsing with emergency patterns. All visitors to safe rooms. Security teams tow. Wait a second, Jack interrupted, munching on his breakfast apple. Let me try something first. This is no time for your unusual methods. Crix protested. These creatures can literally walk through walls. Exactly, Jack grinned. So instead of chasing them, let's ask for help from someone who can do the same thing. Before anyone could stop him, Jack walked straight to the Void Stalker's enclosure. The massive creature, now used to Jack's visits, perked up at his approach. Hey buddy, Jack said casually. Want to go on a hunt? The Void Stalker's spatial bending ears twitched with interest. Mr. Stone. Pip zoomed around frantically. You can't release another dangerous creature. I'm not releasing it, Jack corrected, opening the enclosure. I'm recruiting a search party. Trust me, predators are the best at finding other predators. The Void Stalker padded out, following Jack like an oversized space cat. Jack's next stop was the Plasma Beast's habitat. You too, Sparky, he called out. We need your energy detection skills. Soon, Jack had assembled what he called his search team. The Void Stalker for tracking through dimensions, the Plasma Beast for energy detection, and even the Cosmic Horror, whose tentacles could sense disturbances in reality itself. This is madness, Crix muttered, watching from the control room. Maybe, Blue responded thoughtfully, but his kind of madness has worked before. Jack led his unusual team through the station, following their reactions. The Void Stalker would pause at dimensional disturbances, the Plasma Beast's colors would shift when it detected energy trails, and the Cosmic Horror's tentacles would point toward reality ripples. Visitors who had been rushed to safe rooms watched in amazement through the security feeds as Jack's parade of dangerous creatures moved through the station like a well-trained search party. There, Jack pointed at a storage area, the Cosmic Horrors getting excited. Sure enough, as they approached, three shimmering forms became visible. The Nebula Stalkers had been hiding there, probably planning their next move. But instead of attacking or running, the escaped creatures stared in fascination at Jack's search team. Here were other predators, clearly comfortable with this strange human, even playing with him. Hey there, Jack said softly, pulling out some treats from his pocket. I get it. New place, weird surroundings, lots of rules. Pretty scary, right? The Nebula Stalker's forms flickered with uncertainty. Tell you what, Jack continued, tossing treats to both his search team and the escapees. Come back with us, and I'll set up some playdates. Maybe teach you that dimensional tag game the Void Stalker loves so much. To everyone's surprise, the Nebula Stalkers became fully visible. One even moved closer to sniff at the treats Jack offered. That's it, Jack encouraged. Let's get you back home. We'll make it more fun this time. Promise. The security feeds showed the bizarre procession returning. 3 Nebula Stalkers, a Void Stalker, a Plasma Beast, and a Cosmic Horror, all following a human like ducklings following their mother. I cannot believe that worked, Crix said, her antennae drooping in disbelief. Really? Blue asked, watching as Jack led his expanded group back to their enclosures, already planning new enrichment activities, after everything we've seen him do. By evening, the Nebula Stalkers had a new, more interesting enclosure, complete with dimensional hidey holes and phase-through toys. They showed no more interest in escaping, not when they had scheduled playdates with their new friends to look forward to. Sometimes, Jack explained to the still stunned staff. You just need to think like they do. Every creature wants to belong somewhere, even the ones that can turn invisible and walk through walls. The Galactic Zoo Council arrived on a Wednesday. 5 of the most important beings in the galaxy, each representing centuries of traditional zoo management experience, came to investigate what they called the human situation. This is highly irregular, said Chief Inspector Nova, a being made of pure light. She floated through the zoo's halls, followed by her fellow council members. We've received reports of predators playing games, dangerous creatures having playdates, and complete disregard for standard protocols. Director Blue led the inspection team, his crystal form carefully maintaining a professional shine. I assure you, while our methods are unconventional, our results speak for themselves. Results, scoffed Council Member Vex, a multi-dimensional entity. We hear your human keeper lets a cosmic horror play ball games. Right on cue, a happy rumble echoed through the station. The inspection team turned to see the cosmic horror in question using its tentacles to play a complicated game of 3-dimensional chess with the Void Stalker. Jack sat between them, apparently serving as referee. What is the meaning of this? Demanded Council Member Axis, her robotic form whirring with disapproval. Best 3 out of 5. Jack called out to the players, then turned to face the council. Oh hi, just finishing up their morning enrichment session. The cosmic horror is getting really good at strategy games. Nova's light flickered with disbelief. Strategy games, with beings that could tear reality apart. Well, yeah, Jack shrugged. They're smart. Smart creatures get bored without mental stimulation. Back on Earth, we learned that the hard way with dolphins and elephants. You compare these cosmic entities to Earth animals. Vex's multiple dimensions rippled with indignation. Want to see something really cool? Jack grinned, ignoring the council's tone. He pulled out his tablet. Check out these behavior charts. The data was impossible to ignore. Every single creature in the dangerous species wing showed improved health markers. Stress levels were down, healthy behaviors were up, and there hadn't been a serious incident in months. But the protocols, Nova stammered. Sometimes, Jack said, scratching the Void Stalker behind its reality-bending ears, you have to look past the protocols to see what the animals really need. And what do they need? Asked the final council member, Elder Zen, who had been quietly observing until now. Same things any living being needs, Jack replied. Respect, enrichment, and friendship. Even the ones that can eat stars or bend spacetime just want to feel at home. As if to prove his point, the plasma beast drifted by, playing a gentle game of catch with some quantum phase spiders. The Star Eater cubs washed from their enclosure, waiting for their turn at the chessboard. Director Blue, Nova turned to address him formally. You've allowed this human to completely revolutionize your facility's operations. What do you have to say for yourself? Blue's crystalline form sparkled with what might have been pride. I say, look around. The council members did. They saw the Nebula Stalkers, once notorious escape artists, contentedly playing hide-and-seek across dimensions. They watched the cosmic horror teaching younger creatures how to safely manipulate reality bubbles. Even the most dangerous predators were engaged in peaceful activities. Furthermore, Blue continued, projecting visitor statistics. Our attendance has quintupled. Other zoos are requesting our guidance. We've made more progress in understanding these species in the past few months than in the previous century. Elder Zen floated forward. Mr. Stone, your methods are unprecedented, possibly even dangerous. Jack held his breath. And exactly what the Galactic Zoo community needs. What? The other council members exclaimed in unison. We've been so focused on containment, Zen explained, that we forgot about connection. This human has shown us a new way. Nova's light dimmed thoughtfully. Perhaps it's time to revise some of our protocols. Great, Jack beamed. Just wait until you see what I've got planned for next week's interspecies soccer tournament. The council members stared at him in horror, But Elder Zen just laughed. "My dear colleagues," the elder said, watching as a group of supposedly deadly creatures waited patiently for their turn to play, "I believe we have much to learn from Earth's methods." Behind them, the cosmic horror scored a perfect checkmate and wiggled its tentacles in celebration. 1 year after Jack Stone first stepped onto the Galactic Grand Zoo station, the place was unrecognizable. Gone were the sterile, isolated enclosures. Instead, the dangerous species wing had become what Jack proudly called Space Safari Park. "Welcome to our new interactive tour," Jack announced to a group of excited visitors. "Today, we're going to meet some of the friendliest cosmic entities in the galaxy." Behind him, the Void Stalker sat calmly, wearing what Jack had designed as a tour guide assistant badge. The creature's facial bending abilities now helped transport visitor groups safely between exhibits. Mr. Stone, Director Blue approached, his crystal form glowing with excitement. "The latest statistics are in. We've become the most visited zoo in 3 galactic spiral arms." "That's great," Jack grinned, tossing a treat to the Void Stalker. "But wait until they see what's next. Ready to show them, big guy." The Void Stalker stood up, carefully opened a small dimensional portal, and revealed the zoo's newest attraction, the Junior Zookeeper Academy. Inside, young aliens of various species were learning how to properly interact with cosmic entities. A small crystalline child was being taught how to safely pet a quantum phase spider. A group of floating Orcs practiced playing catch with the plasma beast. Even the cosmic horror had junior assistants, teaching them how to create safe reality bubbles for the smaller creatures. "This is revolutionary," Crix admitted, her antennae now permanently relaxed around the creatures she once feared. "We've received applications from 50 different worlds for our training program." "Humans do have a saying," Pip chimed in, having become one of Jack's most enthusiastic supporters. "The best way to learn is to teach." The station had grown to accommodate its new role. There was now a Cosmic Creatures Conservation Center, where they studied and protected endangered species from across the universe. The Interspecies Games Arena hosted regular events where different cosmic entities could showcase their abilities in friendly competitions. Mr. Stone, a small alien child, approached Jack. "Is it true that on Earth, you keep smaller versions of predators as pets?" "Sure do," Jack smiled, showing pictures on his tablet. "These are my cats back home. Not so different from your cosmic friends here, just a bit smaller and less likely to accidentally create black holes when they get excited." The success of the Galactic Grand Zoo had started a movement. Other zoos began hiring human keepers, learning Earth's methods of animal care. Some called it crazy, but nobody could argue with the results. Breaking news, the Galactic broadcasts announced. The notorious star devourers, long considered the most dangerous species in known space, have been successfully rehabilitated using Earth methods. Reports show them now helping maintain dying stars instead of consuming them. Even the Galactic Zoo Council had changed. Their new guidelines, co-written by Jack, emphasized understanding and enrichment alongside safety and containment. They called it the Earth approach, treating every creature, no matter how powerful or dangerous, with respect and care. Back at the station, Jack was introducing his latest project, a petting zoo. Blue asked, his crystal form flickering with mild concern. "For cosmic entities, just the smaller ones," Jack assured him, watching as baby quantum phase spiders played with visitor children in a specially designed safe zone. Everyone needs a chance to connect. The day ended with what had become a station tradition, the sunset gathering. Creatures that once would have been kept apart now sat together peacefully, watching the nearby nebula paint colors across space. The Void Stalker curled up like a giant cat, the cosmic horror's tentacles gently swayed to music from Earth, and the plasma beast created beautiful light patterns for everyone's entertainment. "You know," Jack said to Director Blue, watching as a group of Star Eater cubs played tag with some young aliens in their containment field. "Back on Earth, they thought I was crazy for wanting to work with dangerous animals. And now? Blue asked. Now. Jack laughed as the Nebula Stalkers put on a stealth game demonstration for cheering visitors. Now I'm teaching the galaxy that every creature, no matter how cosmic or powerful, just needs a chance to be understood. In the background, the cosmic horror had started teaching a class on advanced tentacle origami. And somewhere, a star-eater cub was learning to purr. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was just fine.